Hey
It
man, the
was
Four Nations was amazing, man. So I just quickly here, Team Canada wins the Nations Cup in overtime with a centerpiece goal from
They
none other than
cheated.
Connor McDavid.
mhm.
Dude, NHL with a combination of the NBA fumbling the bag with their All-Star and the conclusion of the NFL season led to 9.3 million viewers for the Cup final. The
And
NHL absolutely
that's in
struck gold.
USA only. That doesn't count
Yes.
Canada's viewership, which is probably at least as much with, 90% fewer people.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they certainly received more fans after the Four Nations Cup than they ever had before. So I think it was just a brilliant event. Maybe a culmination of geopolitics played a hand in making this rivalry just a little bit more intense. But it had all the dramas, man, and the makings of an all-time great. Politics aside, man, like
yeah,
it
yeah.
made one of the most entertaining hockey matches I've ever seen. The
Yeah.
best part is that we get to run it back next year for the Olympics
Mhm.
and should have the makings to set up for another all-time great, man. I love it.
Yeah, the Olympics are going to be a lot of fun. This tournament was a lot of fun, and I was just like, I was so locked in. I literally have like the descriptions for every single goal in our show notes in case we needed it. But like, yeah. So I mean, you just look at it. USA actually took the lead
Mhm.
at one point too. And yeah, they were up 2-1. Mitchell Marner ended up tying it up in the second period, and then it ended up going to overtime, right? And it was just it was so fun to watch. It was like,
I really
best on
thought
best hockey.
I really
It's
thought the
great.
U.S. was going to pull it off in the third because they were showing all these statistics of the U.S.'s defense and point differential, and they're showing all this stuff. And I'm like, oh man, we're gonna get it. It's a little
No,
sad
man, but
we didn't get it, but
Bennington, as much as we were giving him shit, he played his ass off
No, yeah,
at the net there.
he definitely stepped up. Even though, like, as Sharks fans, we hate him. Like, credit where credit's due. He played incredible in that game, and like, honestly, Hellebuck stood on his head as well. Both goalies, like, uh, this game was won by Canada. USA did not lose this game. Like it was an excellent effort from everybody, and I just like, if you can find the replays or whatever, I would go watch those if you haven't watched it at all. It's just, best on best hockey is unmatched, man. This is great, and I'm so excited for the Olympics next year. I'm glad that the hockey players, the NHL players, are going to get to play again,
Yeah,
because they
I
were.
also I love that the banner photo wasn't the same as your photos there that you put up. So shout out to us for picking
Right.
different photos here, huh?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was lucky. Yeah. Yeah.
one of my favorite parts about the Four Nations was when they were doing the introductions for the first game,
mhm.
and they bring out Austin Matthews, who's the center for the Maple Leafs,
Mhm.
and Canada booed him hard, just because he was on Team USA.
Yeah. Well, and also, bad things happening to the Toronto Maple Leafs is sort of
Yeah.
a beloved pastime for NHL fans to make fun of. And it's like
His
they
face,
are
he
they're
like
the
looked into
Clippers.
the crowd like, huh?
With his big old forehead.
Yeah.
And those Canadian games were in Montreal as well, so you had a little bit of extra spice as well. So they were going to boo him no matter what, and
Yeah,
they
for
gave
sure.
it to him for sure, man.
Yeah, don't forget the fight that broke out 9 seconds into that game too. The first
Yeah, the
that
three
Three
fights in
fights.
nine fight
Yeah.
in 9 seconds. Yeah, wild.
Loved it, man. I loved every bit of it. I can't wait for Utah, the Olympics to bring that back up. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, was that
Uh,
2030? I think. Yeah. So,
yeah.
so they're going to Italy. They're going to be in Milan, I think, in Italy.
Yes, that's the next one.
So
Correct.
and then after that, it's going to be in Salt Lake.
I just hope that all like I don't know how I feel about this with like all leagues doing something. But I know the NBA is trying to do something with this tournament. A tournament that means nothing, right? Like
Right, the
a
playing
tournament
tournament.
that means
I
nothing.
mean, I mean, not to play in the in-season tournament.
Right. It means
Yeah.
nothing. This meant something because national pride means something. What's the gentleman that we watched the speech on his show where he the former hockey player, and he was saying
Oh,
that
PK Subban.
Yeah,
you're not
PK
going to get
Subban.
this out of basketball because they don't have the passion for it.
Yep.
The culture of hockey is different. And I 100% agree with it that other leagues, baseball, NFL, basketball, they don't care about all-star games, and therefore fans don't really care for it. So I hope the other leagues are catching on that you need to put a good product out there if you're going to charge $1,000 for an all-star game or whatever it is. Every single one of these games in the Four Nations was good.
Well, I
Every
mean,
single game, not just US and Canada or who the US played. Every single game was good. I watched a majority of the games, and I didn't watch every single game, but I watched a majority of the games, even games that didn't have Canada and the United States. I watched the other countries, and it was fun. It was great, and that's what the
yeah.
NBA and NFL and MLB need to do. But
Well, I think that's the secret sauce, right? Because if you think about it, we're scoring A's fans, yet we found the love and passion watching the World Baseball Classic. That was some of the
Exactly.
most
That was
fun,
great.
inspiring baseball we've ever seen.
Mhm. Yeah, best on best international tournament, I think, is the that's the secret sauce maybe that you were wondering about. And obviously the NFL can't do that because
They're trying.
tackle football is a distinctly American sport. Like it
Right.
is. I mean, like it exists in other countries, and they, like there are leagues. I went to high school with a guy that's like a coach in Australia or something for a tackle football league. I haven't checked it. I gotta, I gotta double check that. But like, so those leagues do exist, but like they're not making news or anything like that. Like, but baseball does, hockey, basketball, these are international sports. And I think that might be what basketball needs to lean into, maybe, is an international best on best tournament.
I think the
You know,
United States might get smoked, though. Like,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
not in the Olympics, but if it was like some type of every other year, every few year
Mhm.
thing with the NBA, I just don't know if players are going to be motivated by it.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, and I was gonna say with the NFL, like I agree with you. There's like if you were able to do some US versus Canada thing, like, it's not gonna work. Like the NFL is primarily a NFL it's North American, United States of America sport, not
Mhm.
but I don't think I know there's some teams that aren't as good in the NFL, but I think most franchises are trying. Like I think the teams that are bottom dwellers like the A's, John Fisher, and the Cincinnati Reds, that their owner is terrible. Baltimore for a long time. There's so many bad owners in baseball.
Yes.
So many bad owners in basketball. We're getting rid of some of them. The other leagues need to change it and wake up. The NHL is by far ahead with their getting rid of the All-Star game, doing these tournaments. I just hope they don't oversaturate it. Like we were talking about this a little bit off air. The stadium series. I think that's something that probably needs to be also once every 2 to 3 years. That way you have all these things spaced out where everything feels new
Mhm.
and fresh, and you're not worn out by it.
Right.
Because if they were doing the Four Nations every year, I think year 3 or 4 would kind of get boring, get tiresome.
Yeah, no, I get that. And like I think the answer for the stadium series is just to go back to the when they started doing this, it was just the NHL outdoor winter classic is what it was called.
Right.
And that's the New Year's Day game.
So I think that
I
there
think
is
just the one game
there
would be
is
good.
something to with the whole World Cup type of deal situation for NBA. There's an argument to be made. I mean, okay, so very small sample size. We're only 5 years into this, although 4 has only been noted here. But your last MVPs for the basketball is Jokic from Serbia, Joel Embiid from Cameroon, Jokic again from Serbia, Giannis Antetokounmpo from Greece. So there hasn't been an American winning in the 20s, the 2020s. So there's something to be said that there is definitely a culture of you could get maybe a world basketball thing together, but I don't know how well you would organize it. Would you organize it as like continent type of situations? Would you organize it by a country? Because I mean, how many Cameroon basketball players are gonna in the
Right,
league?
and Joel Embiid is already like locked into Team USA also.
True. So
So
I don't know. They have a lot more to work out than I think that maybe some hockey was a little bit easier just because there is
Right.
so many from those countries. You know.
fine.